You ever swirl a glass of wine, take a sniff, and just get transported somewhere else? It's one of those amazing little moments, right? But behind that incredible smell, there's this whole hidden story of chemistry, biology, and some serious craft. Okay, let's get into it and uncork the secrets behind the aroma of wine. I mean, it seems like magic, doesn't it? How in the world can fermented grape juice bring up all these different scents from all over the place? You might get bright citrus from one wine and then these deep, earthy notes from another. Well, that's the big mystery we're going to solve today. And here it is, the big secret. Our tongues, they're actually pretty limited. They can only pick up basic tastes like sweet, sour, and bitter. But our noses? Oh, they are incredibly sophisticated. Most of what we think of as flavor is actually aroma, picked up way back in our nasal cavity. So when we're talking about wine, we are really talking about its scent. Okay, so if we want to talk like the pros, we gotta get our words straight. In the wine world, not all smells are the same, and the big distinction they make is between aroma and bouquet. So aroma is all about the scents that come straight from the grape itself. You can think of it as the wine's raw, youthful personality. You know, that unmistakable lychee note in a Gewürztraminer? That's aroma. Bouquet, on the other hand, well, that comes later. These are the really complex smells that are created during fermentation and aging. It's like the wine's wisdom and maturity, earned over time. To make this super clear, we can break it all down into a simple three-level system. You've got primary aromas, which come from the grape. Then you have secondary aromas, which are born during the fermentation process. And finally, tertiary aromas, what we also call bouquet, which develop as the wine ages. This right here is our roadmap.
All right, let's start at square one, the grape. This is where a wine's fundamental character is born, straight out of the vineyard.
You know, every grape variety has its own unique aromatic signature, kind of like a fingerprint. A Sauvignon Blanc is famous for those fresh, grassy, almost herbaceous notes. A Cabernet Sauvignon often hits you with that distinct scent of black currant. These are the primary aromas, the purest expression of what that grape is all about.
Now, what's so cool about this is it's not just some poetic description, it's actual chemistry. That signature green or grassy note you get in a Sauvignon Blanc, well, it comes from a specific chemical compound called methoxyperazine. These are real molecules that the vine literally creates as it's growing.
Okay, now we move on to the next stage, where this incredible transformation begins. Once those grapes are crushed, billions of tiny little organisms get to work, and this is where a whole new layer of what we call secondary aromas are created.
And the heroes of this chapter are yeast. These little guys feast on the natural sugars in the grape juice. Their main job, of course, is to produce alcohol and CO2. But, and this is the crucial part, as a byproduct of all that eating, they also create a brand new symphony of aroma compounds, adding all these layers of complexity that just weren't there in the original juice. And here's where the real artistry comes in. There are hundreds of different yeast strains out there, and the winemaker's choice is absolutely critical. Just think of each strain as a different chef with a totally unique spice rack. One might add notes of banana, while another brings out hints of rose petals. So that one decision completely shapes the wine's final personality. And that brings us to the third and final stage, the slow, patient process of aging. This is where a wine develops its bouquet and its true maturity. Over months, sometimes years, in a bottle or a barrel, the acids and alcohols inside the wine are constantly reacting with each other, forming new compounds called esters. Now, the really fascinating part is that these esters aren't static. They're always forming and breaking apart. This means a wine's bouquet is literally a living, breathing thing that evolves dramatically over time.
So, we have the grape, the yeast, and time. But what if I told you that most of a wine's aromatic potential is still locked away?
Yeah, modern winemaking has found a key.
See, it turns out that many of the most potent, most desirable aroma compounds in a grape are chemically chained to sugar molecules. And when they're in this form, they have no smell. They are completely non-volatile. They're in there, but we can't detect them. A wine's greatest treasures are basically hidden in plain sight.
Scientists have a name for these locked-up molecules, glycosides. But a better way to think of them is like tiny, locked treasure chests. Inside is a beautiful aroma molecule, but it's bound to a sugar molecule that keeps the lid shut and the scent hidden. The only way to get that treasure out is to find the right key to break the lock.
And this right here brilliantly shows how they do it. That key is a special type of enzyme. This chart shows how different enzyme preparations, you can see them labeled E1 through E8, can be used to target and release specific sets of aromas. Winemakers are no longer just hoping for the best. They are actively sculpting the final scent of the wine. It's incredible.
And get this, it's not just random. It is incredibly precise. Just look at this table. If a winemaker wants to pump up the floral and citrus notes, they might pick preparation E1, which is great at releasing compounds like linalool. If they want more intense fruit, they might use E8 instead. It's just a super powerful tool for fine-tuning a wine's natural potential.
So there you have it. The aroma in your glass is basically a story told in chapters. It starts with the primary gifts from the grape. It's transformed by the secondary work of the yeast during fermentation, and it matures with a tertiary bouquet of aging. And now, winemakers can add a final chapter, using that enzymatic key to unlock its deepest, most hidden secrets.
So, the next time you pour a glass of wine, give it a good swirl and really take a deep breath. You're not just smelling fermented grape juice. You're smelling the soil, the sun, a biological process, a chemical reaction, and the deliberate hand of a winemaker. So the real question is, what story is it going to tell you?